Hey guys, it's Joe, and welcome back to our weekly kind of conversation, I guess, about spirit. And today we are definitely diving into a good one. So today is all about uh, how we are this radio tower. We're going to talk all about energy and how we receive energy and send out energy because we are doing it all the time in every moment. And we're going to talk about, how that works and how we can use it to our advantage because we want to use all the tools available to us. Spirit always tells me you're walking around with the Swiss Army knife and y'all are just using the spoon. So we want to get some more tools on board. And the more we understand the mechanics around it, I feel like it will make it a whole lot easier to kind of get it to work in our favor. How are we going to use the tools? We want to understand the tools in order to get them to work. So I'm just going to, pull up my notes because that's just what I'm going to do. Because I don't want to miss anything, right? Okay, so first of all, and it's funny because what came through was around this idea that I always use the example of a radio tower, which is kind of amusing because we have cell towers now, but less about radio. So I asked Spirit to kind of upgrade it. So that's what we got. So we got a new playlist. So we're talking all tonight about uh, how our body is a playlist, how we're using our playlist. So we want to know how we can use what our signal is to our advantage. Okay, so sorry, I'm just going to get my screen all so I can actually see it. Okay, so the best example always is when you walk into a room and you're like, oh my gosh, it feel like you can cut the tension with a knife. Or, ooh, it feels like really happy in here. What is going on? Even though there's not like an outward display of like people laughing or something, you just feel that kind of buoyancy in the room. Sometimes you walk into a room and you're like, ooh, I'm going to be really quiet because I feel like it's just kind of like subdued or sad or whatever. That is our body receiving information from the energetic field, because the room in that case has an energy to it, and everybody in the room is contributing to that space, that energy field. We're all putting information into it and we're receiving information from it. So there is always this exchange going on with our bodies. And that is because we are made up of, as they say, stardust, same stuff. So the same material that makes everything else on the planet is what we're made of too. So we are part of that field. Okay, so um and often, and it's I want to say a repeated message that comes through from spirit when I do sessions is always whatever energy we are holding in any moment is what we're adding to whatever we're thinking about. It's also adding to not only what we're thinking about, we're going to go into that a little bit more, but also the space we're in. So even if we are in a room at a party and our mind is somewhere else, we're thinking about a loved one or a friend or work that day or whatever, we are adding the energy we are to what we're thinking about and to the current physical space we are taking up or we are part of engaging in. Yeah, so that's kind of the dynamics about what we're talking about tonight, this energy field and how we are these receiving towers and transmitting towers all the time. So energy, which everything in the planet is made up of, everything is energy. Everything is energy. From a kind of a science meets spirit perspective, everything is energy, and energy carries information. So, and I love this. It's like our eyes don't see color. Our physical eyeballs don't see color. We're actually perceiving information and then sending it to our brain, and our brain translates that particular energetic signal into the color blue or green or red. So our physical eyes aren't actually seeing the color, it is picking up an energetic signal. Just the same as when you hold your hand over like a flame, like a candle, your body doesn't actually feel heat. It is sensing energy, and then your brain translates that particular energetic signal into heat. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So, all the time we're receiving data, our brain is interpreting it, and then we're sending out signals. And it tells our body what we're experiencing. So, this is how the mechanism of our humanness, of our body, our physical body works with the energy of the universe. So, there's an interplay. There's always again, receiving information, transmitting information, always, 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 always in the loop. And when we understand the mechanics of it, then we can consciously choose how to create with it. Once we know how it works, then we can start to have some power in it. Then we can start to consciously choose the energy that we are transmitting outward and how that interplays with everything else. And that I think is so fascinating. So, one of the aspects of your body, and I apologize for sirens, but it is summer and I have all the windows open. So, our heart and brain are always broadcasting information. And the interesting thing is, heart math has done tons of research and data and experiments and everything. And they have discovered that your heart actually produces an electromagnetic field 60 times stronger than that of your brain. So, actually, the biggest transmitter in our body is not our brain, but rather our heart. And it's amazing because they can actually measure your heart wave feet out from your body, like measure it, it's way out outside of our physical body. That is the resonance that is occurring, the energetic information transmitter from our heart. So if that is the strongest transmitter in our physical body, then that's where the biggest power is. That's where the most power is. So thinking does affect, of course, the atmosphere around us. We're going to get more to that. But our heart actually is the loudest transmitter. It has the biggest volume switch. And so when we create, when we purposely or consciously are aware of that energetic field transmitting outward, we have a big say in what goes on, what occurs, what we are adding to the energetic field around us, and how that interplays with everything else. So, for example, if what was I saying? So your brain, it's not only receiving, but it's sending out. So the energy of your thoughts, of your words and emotions will ripple out. But when you feel it, it has more momentum. There we go. It has more momentum behind it. Has a little more oomph to it when it's your emotion and what you're feeling and your heart resonance. So, how are we adding energy to the field? We're sending it out, but how does this interlink almost? So, if we're not just picking up energy, but we're actively in every single moment contributing to the big energetic field that we're in. So spirit always tells me that we live in a soup and we don't even recognize it, or as they say all the time, we're like fish looking for water because we don't recognize that we're already in it. The water is all around us. So the energetic field is all around us. There is not one little speck of space that is not filled up with this energetic field. It is literally everywhere, and everything in it is a part of it. So it's not like I end here and the field starts here. It's that we are the field. We're simply a different vibrational frequency of physicalness in and of the field. Oh, I like that. That was good. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So we are actively contributing all the thoughts, beliefs, feelings about any person, place, situation, or ourselves is like an energetic overlay that we're putting on top of the field that is them and around them. So I have a thought or a belief about somebody or a situation, and it's like an overlay that I'm putting over top of the energy that is them and the energetic field around them. Excuse me. So if you hold the belief that a friend is lazy, then every time you think about them or spend time with them, you are adding that energy to their field. And they feel that, even if it's subtle. So, you know how you spend time with some friends and you just feel good around them? You can't explain it. And other friends, you feel kind of like you have to be on your best behavior. Or you just in the back of your head, you kind of have this feeling of being judged, or even a better example is when you spend time with a particular person or people and you act a certain way, and then you spend time with somebody else and you act another way, and you're not even quite sure why, and we don't often recognize it, but an onlooker, a third party, can see that we act differently. This is what's happening. So we have what is called through landmark education the already always listening or already always thinking. That is our automatic overlay onto the energy field around people. And that is the kind of like the white noise of what we think about them. So if it's why when we go home to our parents' house, even if we're an adult, often you act like a teenager. It's two ways. One, you have an expectation of how you need or how you're going to act, but they also hold an expectation or an already always listening for how are going to act. So we're both adding to the energetic field with an already always there belief. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So if you had a friend and you thought that they were lazy, every time you talk to them or around them or whatever, you're adding that to their energy field. Now, if suddenly your thinking switched and you shifted to see them in a different light from a new perspective, and suddenly you had this like aha that perhaps they weren't lazy, but they were actually just really grounded. They were thoughtful and someone who doesn't take action unless it is totally inspired and aligned. Well, then they're not going to be lazy. They're just waiting for the opportunity that feels in total alignment for them. That is a complete shift in energy. And suddenly you're going to be adding that new energy to their field. So, guess what happens when we shift our energetic transmissions into the energy field of and around them? They feel that too. And suddenly, the person that kind of didn't get stuff done around you, things are getting done. And it's not just about how we perceive them, but it can shift how they feel around us, how they act around us. It can totally shift the energy between us just by shifting our thoughts around them, because we are always adding to the field, always. We're always contributing, and all of us are contributing. So it's not just individuals, but it's also individuals in a collective, so a community, a family, it could be a state or a country. The more energetic transmitters you have, the more we also resonate with each other. Oh, this is interesting because this didn't come through before. I love this. So this is a reminder, this is an invitation to remind us from spirit right now that to recognize when you are allowing other people's transmissions or energetic output to influence yours. That's an interesting, yeah, that's a good one. So when we, that's why you have like crowd mentality. That's the perfect example of it. Because something that somebody might not express or their energy doesn't naturally run in that direction, but put with enough other people who do, you're going to start to resonate in the same vibration with them. So you want to be an energetic signature that doesn't budge in a good way. Now, spirit has told us, and this is a very common kind of belief or information that goes around, is that somebody who is in an energetic field of love has much more power than those who aren't. So if you are in fear, then somebody who comes along and is in the energetic field or vibrancy of love has a distinct advantage, isn't quite the right word, but I guess it'll work, over those who don't. One person who is enlightened can impact far greater people than those who are in fear. And even though it might not feel like it in the moment, if you are, start to notice how that influences. And notice when you go to a particular hang out with a group of people or go to a particular place, perhaps, or a type of community or people who gather for a hobby or a club. How is it that your energy shifts? Do you bring joy to the party or do you get pulled down? That's, yeah. So that's definitely an invitation to take a look at, an inquiry for this week, to notice how your energy shifts around others and what you can do to kind of be really grounded in your own energy so that you're not the one shifting, especially when it comes for better. Yes, because if you're grounded in love, you're going to be staying strong much more than people who are in fear. Okay. Um, oh, yeah. So, what energy do we want to contribute? Is it anger about politics, fear over money, victimhood about the economy, or do you want to add love, gratitude, expectation, a sense of magic, curiosity? Yeah, you get to choose, because in every single moment, there is not a moment that we're not transmitting. We just are. We are a never-ending being. We are an energetic, spiritual being having a human experience. So we are going to be transmitting energy in a human form, and we're going to be transmitting energy in our energetic form when we're not a human. It just doesn't end. So the choice is yours 24/7. You get to choose. And there will be moments you're going to recognize, yeah, I went down the rabbit hole. Human got me. I went down, I sat in fear for a whole hour or whatever it is, but you have a in any moment you can choose again. Okay, so the universe is neutral, and I love that. So the universe is kind of like the ultimate streaming service, completely neutral, simply waiting for you to choose your channel. Now, one of the good things is that when we I want to say so I used to use the radio tower example, but now I use Netflix. So the good thing about having the choice is that um, when we are at a vibration, okay, so if we are on Netflix, we don't have access to Disney. We don't. We're on Netflix. So we're not going to get Marvel. But that works to our advantage because if your frequency is at a particular height or vibrancy, then you miss out. We're not going to be bothered by stuff that doesn't apply to us. We're not going to be stuff isn't going to show up on Netflix that's from the Disney Channel. So that is the advantage. So if you are of a vibrancy of love and above, and you are, in joy and all that stuff, then people who are like in the middle of victimhood or are angry, they're just not going to show up in your space that much. We're not a match. So if I'm on Netflix, I'm not going to get Disney. If I'm on Disney, then I'm not getting Netflix. That's a good thing. It also means that we need to choose our streaming service very carefully because we don't have access to Disney if we're over on Netflix. So if you're over in fear, the energy of fear, then you don't have access to Disney or love unless you consciously choose to change the channel. So just like a streaming service, it's neutral. Netflix doesn't care. They are a neutrality. The universe is neutral. It's simply waiting for us to choose our channel. Now, and it will, just like everything else, keep delivering experiences or content that matches what you've been watching. So, a perfect example is that on my profile on Netflix, there's almost nothing in English. I watch a ton of Asian television. I watch Korean dramas. I watch Chinese dramas and Thai. I love it. But that means that Netflix has figured this out and they don't send me a lot of stuff in English. They send me a ton of stuff and the ones that I like to watch. So they send me rom-coms and Korean and all that good stuff. When I but it will keep sending me the same thing that I watch. So if I suddenly decided that I wanted to shift my energy and I wanted to watch English police shows or real crime, it's going to take some watching before the algorithm goes, "Oh, wait a minute, she shifted gears." You know what I mean? It's the perfect example. So the universe is neutral. We get to choose, but there is a lag time. It will take time for your streaming service or the universe to catch up to what you're now watching. Okay. Now, the good thing is that sleep gives us time to reset. It's kind of like hitting the reset button. Back to factory settings and away we go. Now, each morning we get to decide what we're going to be or the energy we're going to hold for the day ahead. You hold the remote, nobody else. You get to choose again and again and again and sleep. So the morning time is the perfect time for reset because our system has been on snooze. Now, but here's the thing. So if you don't make a conscious choice in the morning, the playlist that was going yesterday is going to keep running. Yeah. The same shows are gonna the same emotional tone, the same habits of thought, the same kind of people or the same type of situations are going to keep repeating because you didn't take advantage of the reset. Now, honestly, you can reset at any point during the day, but spirit does say that the morning is easier because we have had that like downtime. We have had the reset overnight, which is fabulous. And sometimes I know that I can find myself, if I am like super grumpy and I can't seem to get out of it, or I'm really sad or pissed off or something, I will go have a nap because that will push the reset button. So you can do that too. But having that first thing in the morning, setting an intention, and often I'll do it like before I even wake up. It'll just be like my eyes aren't open yet. I'm still in that kind of wonderful space of connected to spirit, all of that. Yeah. So choosing a new show. uh, oh, and I love it. Yes. Joe Dispenza. So when we keep watching the same shows again and again and again, we are literally wiring our brains with really strong pathways to keep those intact. So the longer you do something, the longer you keep it going on a specific channel or a genre or whatever, the stronger that connection becomes. So, yeah, Joe Dispenza always says neurons that wire together or fire together, wire together. And when you think the same thoughts, the same emotions over and over and over again, that's what's going to happen. And that makes it even more, you need to have that conscious choice in shifting into a new direction. And that's when the morning reset really comes in handy. So choosing a new show, an emotional frequency takes repetition and patience. And it's going to feel weird. Like you're going to be, um, so at first, when I started watching, Asian television, it was, like, weird because I have to watch the I have to watch the what's going on and read the subtitles at the same time. It was uncomfortable, it was weird. But now it's second nature. Now I don't even question it. And I know lots of words that come up. I recognize words and so forth and how it's set up. So it does get easy, but you need to make conscious choices to do it. And it will take patience and persistence. Just like building a new playlist, it might feel awkward at first. But the more you choose it, the more natural it becomes, and the more the universe starts reflecting it back to you, right? So, and just like Netflix, sometimes you'll stumble across a new show through a recommendation. Since you're unfamiliar with the options, try some on and keep the ones you like and discard the rest. We always say that here. Keep what fits, what feels right for you, and get rid of the rest. As you experiment, whoa, very loud car outside my window. As you experiment the universe, just like Netflix, or I shouldn't be plugging them all the time. We'll go to Prime, begins to build a new playlist for you, right? So so your job is to notice. Because as I've said so many times, Spirit says, when we become aware, that's when changes can occur, right? So energetically, we want to reinforce the frequencies that we want. We are then putting that frequency out into the field of energy, and it will start reflecting back and it will start showing up more and more and more in our lives. Neurologically, I can't even say the word, we're rewiring our brain to recognize and expect the new data because our our reticular activating system is the piece in our brain that looks for proof for beliefs. We want to compound the proof. Our brain wants to keep finding things that it agrees with. So the more shows you watch, the more agreeable evidence it will find for you. So trust me, patience and persistence pays off and much sooner than you think. Um, so this is kind of, yeah, I hope this makes sense to everybody. If there's anybody watching who has a question or anything, you can let me know. And always put comments in the side after the live is done. And I am happy to come back and answer them or, yeah, see if there's any ahas for yourself and all that kind of good stuff. So, in the meantime, as always, near the end, I want to invite in Sam to see what they have to say because they were the ones who came up with this topic, as always. And then they send me off to do research and find out things and have downloads and automatic writing during the week and all that kind of good stuff. So, we're going to ask Sam to come in. And if you're new here, Sam is a collective of angels that I channel. And they're fun and fabulous. Okay, so here we go. Hello, hello, dear ones. Hello. Yes, yes, we are so eager to have this conversation, for it is so vitally important that everyone who is interested understands the distinct power you hold in the energetic field. For there is so many experiments that have been done and to prove that you are part of what you would call the matrix or the quantum field, or however you want to put it. Yes, we can see as if you are part of the grid that holds everything together and is the creating force behind everything. Yes, you are not a part of it, but you are it. We don't even know how to put exactly the words in this one's head out to explain just how integral and how important and how, oh, a woven into the very fabric of existence you are. For it is an energetic existence everywhere, and you are simply a particular vibration or frequency at any moment. And this is the key to getting what you want and to having the power to choose whether you are joyful or fearful, whether you are in any moment allowing the flow from the energetic field of love, or you are going to pretend that you are pinched off in a corner by yourself living in fear. Yes. This idea that you are sending out vibrations, just as a spider web feels the vibration. Yes, when something lands on it, you are sending information out into the web of the universe, and that information is also being transmitted and received by you. So, this giving and taking in any and all moments, for it is never ending. This one now is simply receiving a vibrational frequency from us that is allowing her to translate into words and speak them aloud for you. There is this constant back and forth and flow and circle of energetic life. Yes, and information. There are more bits of information than your poor little human can process in any moment. So you are filtering out the ones that do not feel important, but you are the one who decides or chooses what is important. Your brain, your body, your receiving tower or streaming service, as she says, you are in charge of choosing the channels. Yes, yes. And because you are limited on the number of channels you can have or watch or experience in any one given moment, we invite you to prioritize, dear ones. Yes, yes, for it is your priority that will take place. So do not let your 3-year-old past self make the choices of what you get to watch today. They have been in charge for far too long. They have developed your belief systems. Yes, and you have been going along with the flow of things for far too long without taking back the keys. Mhm. You have the remote, dear one. Stop letting the 3-year-old self run the show. Yes, yes. You will notice very quickly, much faster than you think, because you think that everything must take such a long time. Well, there is a lag period, thank heavens, because if you thought of an elephant, then it would land on you if there was no lag. So we encourage you to accept the slight streaming pause that is occurring, but to know that it will, when you shift your energy and you are transmitting a new one, you will have immediate experiences of a new shift in energy. For it is always thought and feeling that occur first before the physicalness shows up in your life. You may think big, heavy, an elephant before the actual elephant marches down the hallway, but you will experience the energy of it long before it occurs in your physical space. Well, the same thing applies to shifting your energy to abundance and love and magic. Yes, yes. The feeling of it occurs long before, but not that long, really, before the physicalness of it shows up. So we invite you to start playing. See what your lag time is now. Perhaps it will shorten day after day as you practice. And we invite you every moment or every morning of this week to set a personal intention around how you would like your day to unfold. Choose your channel. Yes. First, choose the streaming outlet, love or fear, and then choose the channel inside of that streaming service. Mhm. Yes. Oh, I would like the flow of things today, she says. I would like abundance to appear in magical ways that are completely unexpected. I would like to experience love in at least 3 different frequencies. Mhm. Choose your experience. You hold the remote. Make sure the 3-year-old doesn't have it. Mhm. Have fun, dear ones. Yes, yes, we encourage you to have fun. Experiment, try it on. Keep what fits and let go of the rest. Mhm. We love you oh so much. Okay, there we go. Okay, guys, that was another mm, I love that. Okay, so they have told me that next week we are doing the power of words. So we're going to be talking about the energy and the power that words and um, communication have in our energetic field. There is, again, like a 3-part series. They keep doing 3-part series all about energy and how it plays out in our lives and in how we create and how we live and all that kind of good, yummy stuff. So, thank you so much for joining me. I will be back next week. Be sure we did Belinda and I did an interview today or a conversation with a fairy named Tilda who came through for the first time. Oh my gosh, she's like a firecracker. So that conversation will be posted on Wednesday. And so look forward to that. Over on my Facebook page, there's already a snippet of our conversation, which was hilarious. And please be sure to comment. Let us know your ahas or your questions or anything like that, or things that you would like us to have ask questions for Sam or Tilda in the next conversation we have for next week. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support, and I will see you soon. Well, we'll see. I might see you sooner than we expect if I can't figure out how to do it, how to end. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.